Hello and welcome back to Aaron's Games. I'm Aaron. Let's talk about some games, and today let's talk about some dice. So you'll know from watching other videos of mine that I like Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, I don't like Dungeons and Dragons, I love Dungeons and Dragons. When I first started playing Dungeons and Dragons, I got the starter set and I got one set of dice and I thought, yeah, this is the only set of dice I'll need. I don't need lots of dice, I don't need to buy sets and sets and sets, and you know, I don't have to be like other players. How wrong I was! I have lots of dice now because dice are nice. Dice are nice. You buy some dice, you feel nice. That's basically what happens. So I thought what I'd do in this video is show you through all of the dice that I have, and this video is sponsored by the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, which is one of the best rides in the world. In fact, my #1 ride in the entire world, and though I haven't been on that many, it's simply brilliant. So those of you who know will know, and if you don't know, oh, what a shame. Try and go on it. So I'm going to talk about the dice that I've got in order of acquisition, so from the first set to the most recent set that I've bought. So the very first set, as I mentioned before, was the starter set that you get. That was the first Dungeons and Dragons thing that I bought, and it comes with this lovely deep blue and white basic dice set. Weirdly, for the starter set, only has 1d6, so if you're character creating, you just roll that a bunch of times. Luckily, I had loads of other d6s from Fiasco and other games that I play, but it's weird for the starter set to just have one of those. But there we are, so you get your d20, your d12, your d10. You don't get a percentile dice either with this set. It's very odd. It is quite an old set, so I think maybe they rethought their strategy in the meantime. You get the D8 and the D4, and that's it. And obviously you get the Lost Mine of Phandelver and some character sheets and basic intro to the rules, etc. It's good value, but basic dice. I think the next dice that I bought were these ones. Now this is an okie dokie box because I like to keep my dice in boxes where I can, but actually it's a set of Chessex dice. So they are nifty purple dice, you can see them here. Kind of purple speckled dice, and I bought these because I was invited to play in a campaign by one of the players that I'd set up Lost Mine of Phandelver for. So he was starting his campaign and invited me along because he knew I'd not played as a player before. So he invited me along to play that. Unfortunately, the campaign got put on hold pretty much straight after the first session because lockdown happened. Everyone had to stay in their homes, obviously, and we were looking to play via Roll20, but one of the players doesn't have great internet access, so we've decided to put it on hold until she can join. Because, you know, you're not going to kick someone out just because they can't access the internet as fast as everyone else can. That's not fair. So I've got this lovely set of purple dice that I've never actually used. The first session that I played with this character, which was a drow sorcerer, I played with the blue dice because, again, that's all I had at the time. Some say that ordering dice at level 1 is a bit of a curse because your character might die, and I did come close. But I survived, and my dice, these new dice, arrived the very next day, in fact, so some sort of weird coinky-dinky effect there. This set does have a percentile dice, of course, and it's the only Chessex set that I own, despite me thinking that Chessex is a reasonable brand. I only own the one set, but there we are. Next up, we have two sets of dice because they were bought around the same time. So it was Christmas, and I'd finally convinced my partner to think about playing Dungeons and Dragons. She was very apprehensive of the idea, felt a bit intimidated by it all, and let's be honest, we've all been there. So we went to Athena Games in Norwich, which is an excellent game shop. I really recommend you go there if you live in or near Norwich. It's lovely, the staff are lovely, and there's lots of stuff, and there's like a whole wall of board games. And so I bought the Essentials kit because it has a whole new scenario, the Dragon of Ice Spire Peak, and it also comes with a set of red dice for helping with character creation. It's another starter set, but it's vastly improved from the original starter set in that the campaign is laid out much better. So generally one area of the campaign is on one double page spread, which is amazing. In Lost Mine of Phandelver, you often have to turn the pages quite a few times, and I find myself putting rulers in to hold pages and stuff like that. But everything's on one page. It's a really nice, thickly bound book. You get some item cards, you get some NPC cards, you get cards for the missions, the tasks, the quests that you have to go on. It's great, and you get a nice little box to put them in. And you also get this lovely red set of dice here. So you get 2 d20s, which is nice, handy for rolling at advantage. You also get 4 d6s, which is nice because that is what you need to create a character. And I think the Dragon of My Spire Peak Essentials set goes into a lot more detail about creating a character. The basic rules that come with it only include a few of the classes, so it's still a bit restricted in that sense, but for newbies it's great. And you do also get the percentile dice with this set, which is, yes, good. So at the same time, as I was saying, my partner was getting into D&D and we had created a character for her. She had a bit of an idea in her head of what she wanted to be, and we created a Dragonborn Paladin for her to play, and we bought this lovely golden set of dice. It was as close as to like rose gold, copper that we could find, because she likes orange, copper, rose gold type tones, so we went for this golden set, and it's a really nice little set. And she also got this really nice okie dokie dice bag with it, which is handy for keeping her dice in, because she didn't want the box, and that's where I inherited the box for the purple set. Thank you very much to her. And they live in there. So next, I have another set of dice for another character, because I, in lockdown, got bored and decided to run some one-shots and brought some people together for a one-shot. We're in a randomly generated dungeon,
which was ridiculously overpowered, let's be honest.
And we got together and played. And one of the characters,
who died quite early into the dungeon, whoops,
was creating his own campaign and invited us all along to play. So I finally got to play as a PC for more than one session, which was great. So I'm now playing this Tabaxi druid in this crazy world which has sky demons and lots of horrible, arcane, mysterious, magical, dark enchantment type undertones. It's really good. I'm really enjoying it. So I bought this green set of dice for my character, which is called Plume, and he's a crazy kind of he's literally chaotic good druid, Tabaxi druid, and he's really fun to play. I love wild shape and all that. And I bought this green and gold set for him, and it's this is an okie dokie set, because I like that you get the boxes with the okie dokie set, so I bought another one. And again, they arrived shortly after I first started playing with Plume, and he did survive his first few sessions. In fact, his first session was a kind of a test session where we were transported to another plane and had a fight with this big fire elemental, and the DM wasn't expecting us to win, but I won and I beat the fire elemental, and it was great. I felt so good. Maybe got a bit cocky after that, but there we are. And then I tried briefly to get my eldest into D&D. He is interested in the idea, but he's not so interested in the playing of the game. So it's a bit difficult in that sense to try and keep his attention. Nevertheless, we created a rogue for him. It's an elf rogue, and kind of wood-based. He decided to go for a red set of dice. Well, red is his favourite colour, so that's fair enough. And we'll have a quick look at those. He hasn't actually used these dice yet, other than we had a bit of a session 0 where I went through their sheets, because it was him and my partner, because she'd never played. She again got really intimidated by the fact that I was so into it all the time. Maybe I was a bit overbearing as a DM, so I've kind of eased off and let her decide at her own pace. So they were playing together. They played this session 0, and trying to get them to have a feel of the game. Didn't really go that well. He freaked out and had a panic attack tantrum and then ran off. So that didn't go great. But he's got a lovely set of red dice in another okie dokie box if he ever needs them. And then we come to what is currently my favourite set of dice, because I just love their design so much. These are my DM dice, and it's these ones here. They're Laeral Silverhand box. It's a set of dice that you get, including these giant D20s. Well, not giant, but they're double the size of normal D20s. 6d6 and percentile dice, as you would expect. The really nice thing about these is that on the D20s, the 20 is the D&D logo. I really like that. And I also really like the font. It's kind of a nice serif styled font, different to the other kind of more basic fonts that I have on all the other dice, and it's a nice funky blue with silver inlay. I really like them. So these are my DM dice. The fact that I've got the 2 d20s is great for rolling disadvantage, advantage, etc. I really like using those. And then we have this weird dice which I discovered while tidying out my flat. It's this one here, and it's a single d10, and I bought it. I remember exactly when I bought it. When I was very young, we went to the Science Museum. Me and my best friend at the time went to the Science Museum, had a great day at the Science Museum, and we found ourselves at the end of the day in the shop, and I didn't have that much money. So they had like a pick and mix dice type thing, you know, when you got like the pocket money stands of all the cheap stuff that you can buy, little trinkets and stuff like that. And it was just lots of random dice, and I picked this one, which is a purple glittery nice one. And I'm looking back on it now, the link between people interested in science and people interested in D&D or other role-playing games is clear. But at the time, I just thought, oh, funky 10-sided dice, that's cool, and had no idea what I would use it for, but bought it anyway because I thought it would be fun. So effectively, this was the first dice that I ever bought, which is pretty cool. I like that. So that lives in my dice box now as well. And that's about it for my dice collection. There's a couple of other things that I've got, just little extras. So one of them is this nice 3D printed D20 holder. I'll put one in to show you. Fits quite nicely, a little D20 in there. That's cool, isn't it? It actually also, surprisingly, fits the giant D20s pretty well. They sit nicely in there. Not great, but it's nice to... I just have that sat on my desk and you can pick up a D20 from it whenever I like. It's just like not that expensive on eBay, and it's a nice little thing. I really like it, so it makes me feel good. And isn't that what the game's about? And I also have this really cheap kind of folding pleather dice tray because I needed some sort of dice tray. Since that, obviously I've got the Layerall Silverhands dice box. That actually comes with 2 dice trays, but I tend to use those to separate my denominations of dice. So when I play, I have my character dice set out in order, and I'll use those as priority. But for Plume especially, he casts a lot of spells which need like 3 or 4 d10s, 4 d8s, stuff like that. So I've got a big stock of other dice I can use, so I draw from those in the denominations needed. They do function as dice rolling trays, but for me they're a little bit small. I like the size of the one that I've got. I have got my eyes on one of those really big ones that's got a nice central area, and then around the edge you can put all the other dice. That's on my wish list. And that's about it for this video. I'd love to hear about your dice collection. Tell me how many you have, what varieties you have, what your favourite dice is, funny stories involving your dice. Do you have a dice jail? I don't have that because I don't think that dice should be punished for rolling badly, but some people do, and that's cool. If that's how you want to play, you might have a dice jail. Put a comment below and tell me about it. Thanks for watching, and like and subscribe and do all of the nice YouTubey things. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter using my username, which is down here at AaronWait, and you can also, if you're not watching this via YouTube, click through to the YouTube link there. Damn the pointing. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye! Why do I always go falsetto on the bye? Bye!